I mean, that's an important point in itself.
Yeah.
Because quite often the plant-based movement, you know, I see it all the time. It's something I think about, privilege.
Yeah.
And being conscious of lower socioeconomic status.
Yeah.
Populations.
Definitely.
Considering that, sometimes their food choice is more limited.
Definitely. Yeah. I've never been in a environment like that, but I think they call them the food deserts in the States. I think they have it. Do you have it in Australia as well?
I'm sure there are. There
Yeah.
are parts of the country, but probably not as widespread as the States.
Yeah. So there they have, like, I think a lot of times, like in Black communities, they live in areas where they don't really have access to the foods that we have access to. And if you can make decisions and think about what you can do to change where your food comes from, that is a privilege. That's a fact, I wouldn't say that's going to hold back a lot of people, because even in those communities, you see a lot of vegans just because they are more aware of justice and how oppression is wrong. So they understand ethical veganism much better, much easier, let's say. But we do have to take that into consideration. And I think it's very important to, when you're talking to someone, and I used to do this as well, when someone said, like, I can't afford to go vegan. And I used to go like, well, what's cheaper than rice and beans? And that's true. What's cheaper than rice and beans? That's really cheap. But that's quite ignorant, because first of all, you have to acknowledge the fact that someone is sharing their financial situation with you. That's really personal. Most people wouldn't even share that with their family members or their partners or their friends. So you really have to, first of all, respect that they share that with you, and then ask where they're from if they are comfortable sharing that information with you. And then maybe you can ask your surrounding, if you have any vegan friends who come from that area, and then you can put them in touch, like, hey, this person I found out, they just like live in the area, they're vegan as well, they love to help you out. If someone shares vulnerable information with you that's stopping them from going vegan or thinking about veganism, I think that's really, really powerful, and you should respect that and help them if they want to go vegan. If they're still interested, find out where the information is, where the cheap food is, where the healthy food is, and everything else.
We were talking about the dumpster diving.
Yeah.
Yesterday.
Yeah. So there's a lot of people who would just like go to supermarkets when they close down, or even restaurants, they throw out so much food that could feed like thousands of people. And yeah, some people go dumpster diving. So they open the dumpsters and they take out the food and everything, and they just eat that. And this doesn't have to be someone who's struggling financially, because it's also a sustainability thing. If you have so much food being thrown away, why not like recycle it, let's say? I think it's really great. The problem with that is that not everyone can do it. Not only because they don't feel like it, but also there's a limited amount of places you can go for dumpster diving, because a lot of corporations, when they, first of all, the area where they throw away the food is completely locked, so no one can access it. In some places, like I've done it, I think it was in Barcelona. In some places, when they throw it, they also put some waste on it so that no one can use it, because it has happened apparently that someone got poisoned and they sued the company, and the company is like, well, we're not going to risk it anymore, so we're just going to ruin the food so no one can recycle it,
So from an ethical perspective, where do you sit on dumpster diving and consuming animal products?
Yeah, I would definitely not consider it as a vegan thing, just because as a vegan, you wouldn't accept the body parts of an animal as food. I have to admit, though, it is in some cases more environmental friendly, just because you're not creating more demand for more food to be produced. That's a fact. But then again, we can't really advocate for that, because it's quite an impossible thing to ask the human population to do, or even a society. A lot of people have to eat and consume for you to have dumpster diving availability, So you can't really apply that to the society and to your surrounding. You can't just start advocating for dumpster diving. At some point, it's going to stop. There's a limit to it. I would never feel comfortable eating that food, honestly, just because I don't see an animal body parts as food anymore. I would feel extremely uncomfortable. Also because I have the privilege to think that's not healthy for me, so I'm going to eat something else.